Welcome to a new episode with ideas and insights. Find the strategies, tactics, and tools for your success in your initiative, project, and campaign. You are listening to the IdeaCast with your host, Tom Wittig.
It is March 2020 and the corona pandemic crisis is raging around the world. Things have definitely changed, and who knows what is coming out of this pandemic crisis. We are just at the beginning in many countries at this point in time, so we really don't know what's happening. Well, we may be trapped in our homes, but we are certainly not trapped in our minds and imagination. And yes, of course, I would like to go down the street to my favorite place and have a meeting over a coffee. But seriously, rather than worrying about what you cannot do right now, the question is, what can you do right now? What is the time really good for? And how to keep an eye on the horizon. So how do you want to come out of this crisis? How will we work, sell, engage, deliver to support clients or our constituencies in 2-3 months down the road? So now is a good time to reset and recalibrate. And I wanted to share a first shortlist above and beyond of all the advice that is out there and floating around right now in terms of staying healthy and so on. So this is not a health-oriented advice. So here's my shortlist of, let's say, 10 things I want to point out. So the first one is, first and foremost, I would say this is a time where we can really engage more with the community around us and serve the community. And maybe we can find a way to lend a helping hand and offer some help to the local community or a network, helping others succeed. Not only is that good for the others, but it really makes us and ourselves happier as well. And maybe you want to support an entrepreneur, a team or neighbor or a business or any institution or club which is struggling right now. I really don't care what it is, but I think there's so much opportunity right now and so much requirements and needs for actually getting some help. So even if it's only starting to engage in a conversation and exchange some ideas about where we're going and what we see as an important factor moving forward. Now, if you are working in an office, in companies or organizations, I think there are a couple of things I want to point out. First, what I see right now happening is that many organizations help their employees to reduce contact. So first of all, of course, that is working from home. And many employees have the opportunity to work from home. That's not the case in every sector and every industry. For example, the health sector is in high demand right now. But in other areas, we can look for ways to automate things. And sometimes it's as simple as sending the invoices, for example, just as a simple PDF. And I see this happening right now in many institutions. Actually, I'm in touch with. And even some of those institutions, I would never have thought that they would switch to this very simple process. So becoming a paperless office, I think this is a great time of really becoming more of a paperless, or in other words, a digital office. And this again is something I see with many organizations. So in some way, this crisis is actually forcing a lot of organizations to really embark on, let's say, digital transformation on a very tactical level, but also to rethink how we actually work and deliver services and products. And sometimes it's just a small thing, like replacing the shared coffee mugs that we have in the office and hand out reusable personal cups for coffee, etc., which actually also help a little bit to spread diseases if I read the science from the virologists correctly. Now, in companies which have a large portion of the workforce working from home, I think if you're working from home, just make it work for yourself. Set up your workplace in a nice way so you have no limitations. Get some nice equipment like camera, microphones, nice chairs, whatever you need, and really provide the basis of having a decent conversation and conducting effective work with the best equipment that you can get for the prices that you can afford. Having said that, there are obviously a lot more meetings happening on video conferencing platforms. So I would also suggest as the next point to get up to speed on the netiquette and how to conduct remote meetings. This is not second nature for everybody. So I would certainly encourage also companies to help employees figure out how to conduct an online meeting, for example. Otherwise, it ends up in a giant brouhaha and nothing really happens at the end of the day. So it's really important to figure out what is a good way to have an effective and an efficient conversation and work conversation. Then if you're a solo entrepreneur or let's say working as an independent freelancer, for example, it's also important to brush up your social profiles, especially those on LinkedIn or which are more, let's say, professional career oriented. I think this is a great time to take a fresh look at how you actually present yourselves and your capabilities. For the companies, and I would say here especially I'm looking for the medium-sized companies and the small business companies, I think this is a great time to update your website or set up a new website if you haven't done it already. I see still way too many websites which are not user-friendly. They are not up to date. They are not let's say meeting the new speed requirements. And sometimes you can't even find the companies. So in this time and age, it shouldn't be so difficult to find your company. Also here, I think it will be great if you can help your customers avoid physical contact. For example, by setting up online payments or touchless point of sales payment options, things like that. Very easy to do. I think this goes a long way right now, and it will serve you and your clients in the long run eventually. Then another point is to actively look for funding options right now. Now, the news is full of great news actually about governments taking very strong action to safeguard the economy. So there are big spending packages out there right now, which are coming to fruition probably within the next few days or weeks. And I think it will be important to understand how you can take best advantage of that to actually bring your company forward, make it more resilient, get it up to speed, what you can and cannot do with the funding, etc. I'm certainly monitoring that. I get a lot of questions from clients and also future clients who ask, okay, how can we use the money and can you help us with certain activities? Now, if you have a physical product, for example, I think it will be great if you set up a web shop. And if you have a web shop, I think one rule is really important. It's not only enough to have it, and that's a necessary but not sufficient condition. But that brings me to the last point. You also need to be discoverable. So figure out a way how to get discovered by advertising, search engine optimization, etc., etc. So this is a short list. Actually, the last point, as you probably figured out, I'm very passionate about. So I will talk about this a little bit more because it's really important to be discoverable in the search engines and on the internet in general. And that's one part of it, but you also need to understand how the landscape is shifting right now. I see some interesting trends. First of all, I thought that this market for online advertising is more or less imploding, but that's actually not the truth. Quite the opposite. I think more companies are looking for ways to, for example, generate demand in a new way. And there's also a change in the dynamics of the social media platforms, the advertisement platforms, the search engines, etc. And that's something you need to monitor very carefully or work with a company to help you maneuver this space right now. And actually what I'm intending is to share some of the insights that I'm seeing right now from our digital marketing and online advertising projects and business. And I might actually start with a new and upcoming platform, which you may have not considered so far. So stay tuned until the next episode. Now, again, this was only a short interim update. Maybe it gives a little bit different spin on the whole Corona crisis right now and what to do or what not to do. But first and foremost, I wish you and your families and constituencies all the best. Be well, stay healthy, and stay productive. Until next time. When you are looking for inspiration and help with your digital marketing and growth initiatives, please check out our digital marketing agency, WITTIGONIA Digital. We provide a range of support from strategy to implementation tactics and optimization of digital marketing campaigns. From managed services to workshops and compact learning modules, our work supports you and your team. Discover more at wittigonia.com.
Thank you for listening. I hope you find this episode interesting and helpful. Please rate and share this episode with your team, colleagues, and friends. You can find links to more information in the show notes of this episode.